Hey kiddo, it's lunchtime.
Yay! Lunchtime!
That's right, today we're rebuilding the generator on the 28 Chevy.
I want wheels.
You don't want to work on the car?
No!
So this is my Delco Remy generator. Whoa, it's a heavy one. There's the tag. Model number is 943B. This is how I found the generator. Somebody, the previous owner, has already opened it up and started to get into it a little bit. I don't think anything's been done with it. These bolts just run all the way through the housing here. Pop those off. Just comes apart like that. Now if we look in here, there's like a metal band that goes around this area. I've already taken that part off. Just a screw that takes it off. And now in here, there's a pin that lines up. So that closes right where it needs to be. And if you look in here, your brushes are attached to these wires. So I'm going to take those off right now. And it looks like the wires are already in position. This one goes to that one, this one wraps around there. And you need to take these off in order to get this part off. Alright, so I got both those wires, and that should pop right off there. Springs seem to be working pretty well. Kind of cool. Little oilers in here. So I'll take that all apart and clean it up. And get new brushes as well. Wanted to see if there's going to be any play in this bushing onto here. So it's going to sit like that. It's not even going in. I'm going to clean that up real quick. So I just cleaned up this bushing in here a little bit, and then I put a couple toothpicks in between these little arms here so the springs don't close. That way I just want to see what the fit is like on the bushing in this bit right here. So set it right on there, and there's zero play in there, so I'm going to leave that alone. Thought it was kind of interesting in here. I didn't know how any of this worked. There's the oiler lid in there, but that comes through into this little felt piece which wraps around and comes out on the side of your bushing in there. See that dark spot in the middle on this side? And that lubricates the bushing there. So I'm going to go ahead and clean all this stuff up and see what else I need to take apart. Alright, so in order to get this this plate off, I had to get the pulley off first. So you just take it off with a gear puller. So I already took this all off. So the bushing pops out. This comes off there. And then there's a washer down here. It kind of acts as a spacer, and it stops on this little ridge. Good. One thing I wanted to tell you is once you pull this pulley off, This little pin is just inside there. Came off real easy. I just pried it out with a flathead screwdriver, popped right out, and then your plate will come off, no problem. I'm going to take off these 3 screws, and I think that should let me have access to my bearing in there so I could clean it up and pack it full of grease again. Got this little plate here, and then, oh boy, that is brittle. It's falling apart as we speak. So, don't know what that's made out of. It almost looks like tar paper or something. And this, oh cool, you don't even need to press it in. Just popped right out. Boy, that bearing is in sad shape. So I might look into getting a new one of those. All right. So I'm cleaning this up a little bit. I found something that's kind of interesting. I didn't know how it worked, so I'm sure someone along the line wouldn't know how it worked either. So there's an oiler on this cap as well. And you can see there's a hole there where the oil comes out. And resting down in here, this is underneath the bearing, there's another felt washer that sits right on there. And then there's a little metal washer with a tab on it. And that goes right in there like that. Okay, so when you're oiling it up, you're oiling into that felt washer there. And then your bearing is in here. All right, so I've been working on the generator here. Got it all cleaned up. Got a new paint on it. Seems to be looking good. So I want to put it all back together. For the insides, the old bearing was toast. So I got a new bearing, packed it full of grease, be ready to go. As far as other new components to this part, when I took it apart, it had this felt gasket on there, and it's just completely fallen apart. So I made another gasket, just out of gasket material. It is a little thicker than the original one. I don't think it's going to be much of an issue, but if it is, I'll take it out and try something else. So, felt washer lays right inside there. This other washer has this little point on it, so it's going to go where the oiler goes. Just like that. Put my new bearing in there. New gasket and the cover plate. There, so now the only problem I could see with that possibly having is if that gasket that I put on there is too thick, it's gonna kick this plate out too much and the armature and everything's gonna be messed up. But until I put it all back together, I'm gonna leave it as is, just like that. So now I wanna replace my brushes. Pretty easy to do. Unscrew this little hole screw here, and they just slide out. Here's the old one compared to the new one. Yep. Worn down just a little bit, but not too much. Hold it back in there. repeat that 2 more times. And there we go. We got all 3 brushes back on there. Gonna put this plate back on. And remember, here's your oiler. Oils down into this little felt thing. I don't know what you want to call it. And there was this little small gasket that was just sitting inside there. I'm gonna put that back in there. Like that. Put the plate back on. And after that, it's time to reassemble everything. Pretty easy. All right, so here's all the parts that we have, all cleaned up, put back together, painted, looking good. This part with the springs and brushes in it, the way that I have been doing this, please let me know if you have a better way, because I'm not exactly thrilled by this way. Just taking a toothpick and I'm just putting it in between this arm and this little shaft here. And that holds it open enough so where it could slip over the armature there. So again, I'm just holding it open with my thumb, putting a toothpick in there, and letting it rest on there. And then I have to go back, once I get it over the armature, I have to remove those toothpicks. So let's see, first things first, let's get that hard part out of the way. Pull that off. So there's a little pin right here, and that's going to meet up with the little hole that's there in the body of it. Again, your toothpicks have to be short enough to where it's not going to get in the way of the body. There. Lines up there, with your armature here. Whoop. There, so now see the brushes are over that part. Don't forget this little spacer washer here. It's gonna go on right like that. And I do have a very thin coat of oil on both ends of the shaft there. And this time on this side, the body has the pin and the cap has the hole. So there's no way that you could put these together in the wrong order. All right, so we've got both caps on now. We're gonna flip it over here. And these bolts just go straight through the body. Right, so now that's all put back together. And now I need to get the toothpicks back out of there. There's one. Up. Two. So 1, 2, and 3 toothpicks. I ended up having to take this thing all apart again just to get one toothpick that dropped down in there. So please, in the comments, let me know how to keep those arms open so I could put this back together in a more efficient way. Last step is to reconnect these wires. Because the pins that are in the body and in the caps, it lines right up. So the wires stay right where they should be. Just got a washer and a little tiny screw. And they'll just go right back where they were. Goes back on there. Then there's the little pin that goes back in here, and then the pulley goes back on top of that. I'm calling that done. That wraps up the restoration of the Delco Remy generator. Pretty easy, not too bad. If I can handle it, I'm sure you guys can too. Yep. Let me know what you think in the comments, please, guys. I really like communicating there. Also, if you're enjoying these, please give me some likes, give me some subscriptions too. That would be really nice. While I do thoroughly enjoy just making the videos, it would be nice to, you know, maybe make an extra few bucks on this thing, or maybe get some free parts or something. So yeah, in order to do that, I need likes, I need subscriptions. So I think the kids say smash that subscription button. Anyways, thanks a lot, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know how I can make the videos better.